Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Wichita Vice.
Yes,
yes, we are back. We are back.
Gratitude and solitude.
Okay.
All right. And so we have on the show,
Peace and love.
to my left,
Jesse.
Cameron.
Hey, it's Chris with a K.
Marquez.
hey, Marquez. Thank you for inviting us here. So what is this place called again?
It's called Gratitude.
Well, thank you for having us. I appreciate that, Marquez.
Surrounded by awesomeness.
Of course.
Yes.
Yes, this is
For sure.
It's been a long time, guys. Thank you again. And also, you guys, I want to say thank you for making it happen. So today we're going to thank you. So today we're going to talk about the Marvel and DC hero and villain of the month. We're also going to talk about the upcoming movies. We're going to talk about favorite current TV shows and also upcoming movies and our new channel, Silver Cosmo Review, with Jesse here shortly. And we're also going to talk about more details of the contest for the tickets for Black Widow. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the upcoming movies. So, Chris, we got Black Widow. What do you think about Black Widow finally coming back?
I actually just watched it right before, just earlier before
Nice.
recording here. Man, I enjoyed it. I'm really happy with. I think if the only part lacking is if you guys have seen anything, this isn't a whatchamacallit,
Spoiler alert?
spoiler
Yeah,
alert. No, I think this is just in the trailers that it's set shortly after the Sokovia Accords go into.
yes.
So that if it could have been released at that time in 2016 in the proper timeline, that's I think the only thing that really could have made it a whole lot better.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that she finally got a movie.
Yeah, and me personally, I'm glad they went a little more in depth about who she is and where she's from and what made her how she is.
Because she's been Natasha Romanoff, Black Widow's been around for
Quite
years
a while.
and never been and always been on the headliner team, but was just that she's just the eye candy on the side, really.
Yeah.
Well, I think they've kind of portrayed her as a non-standalone character up to this point, and it's very refreshing to see. She's a hero. She is a true hero, and she's not just somebody that. She's not just there, like you said, for the eye candy or the side piece or anything like that. She does this, and even before she was a hero, she was still doing her thing. I mean, she's always been around in this timeline, doing heroic things or heroic feats at the very least.
Yeah.
I have to admit, though, it was kind of amazing to see when they brought her in Iron Man 2. When I knew Scarlett Johansson was casted for Black Widow, I knew she was going to play a bigger picture going forward. I liked her in the sequel to Captain America, the one with
The Winter Soldier.
That was a good movie, and I liked how she got more exposure time on it.
That one's considered one of the best of the MCU.
Yeah.
The Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Wasn't Thor their highest grossing? And then I think that one's top 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which
I think-
Thor?
I think
Which,
Thor.
was it Ragnarok or
That one's the best.
Dark
of those,
World?
I still
The
think
Dark
Iron
World,
Man.
I think it was
Dark
their,
World.
and it may have changed since I've last seen it, but I believe that the Dark World was their highest grossing overall. Thor has
great movie.
sold very well, but they really pushed those main ones through. Iron Man, Thor, and
Yeah.
Hulk. I think kind of got left behind. They did that little
Sad.
love scene between her and Hulk, and they had
Yeah.
I think that was a little bit of a
but-
remainder of some of the Fox ownership of some Marvel stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
It was a transition phase.
And the whole Edward Norton, because they still use that
Yes,
same
yeah.
character, because Samuel L's still Nick Fury at the end of that recruiting the Hulk, but then it's like it'll be interesting to see what the She-Hulk comes out.
Okay, so wait, are
Don't
we
get
doing
too far
spoilers?
ahead.
Are we doing spoilers? Are we doing spoilers? Yes or no? Because I have a lot of there's a lot of cool things I want to mention, but I don't
think we want to spoil too
Okay,
much.
okay.
Unfortunately, not yet, Mark.
Because we're still
Okay,
giving
okay.
away tickets.
Okay,
for
you
it.
got to see the movie. It's
All right,
just-
you guys.
It's
okay,
a
you
good
just
one.
have to- it
So
was
the
really
next
good.
movie, the next movie upcoming is Space Jam: New Legacy. So we see that it's been 20-something years after Michael Jordan and the Toon Squad did their movie. The sequel we have now is LeBron James. I wouldn't say the word replace Michael Jordan, but it's going forward. So what do you think about that movie coming up? Let's give that to Cameron.
Okay.
I really wish that they would have just done something different. personally.
Yeah.
I think that a not Space Jam
Yeah.
LeBron movie crossover something would have been, and I don't think that the movie is going to be bad. I haven't seen it personally. I think it does have a lot of potential, but I really would have liked to have seen. You're just further fueling this LeBron versus MJ debate, in my opinion, by putting it in the same. Same.
Let me ask you this: what would you have done different? Like a different setting, a different time, a different generation? What exactly would you mean? You say
I think I would have
different?
gone with a different crossover completely. I think I would have stayed away from the Toon Squad, the saving the cartoons thing. I think I would have gone with a hero crossover, or
and see, I was thinking the same thing. Like maybe LeBron is something apart from basketball, and I'm a part of basketball. Like, see, me personally, the reason why I think that comparisons are so often made is because they drive the money.
Sure.
Yeah. When you say who's better, what? Well, you create so much mystique.
Right.
Oh, well, then what? And then people get interested in the product.
Well,
so
I think
from a monetary standpoint,
yeah.
that's what the comparisons do.
He wants that comparison because it keeps selling.
Yeah. At the same time, why can't they just be both great in their own right? That's
look
just
look at his effect in the community outside of being a basketball player. He's a very positive role model for a large group of people, no matter who you are. You can look at LeBron and see what he's donated, see what he's done for the public. Look at what he's done just for his family alone. You don't hear about LeBron getting caught up in affairs. You don't hear about him cheating on his wife or treating his kids poorly. You don't hear about him getting caught out partying and doing this. He's a good guy, a genuinely good guy. From our standpoint as the general public, I can't speak for how he speaks to,
because we don't know him personally.
Exactly.
He's got the shop that show the shop. I mean, he seems fairly personable on that and laid back, nice.
He's intelligent. He's financially responsible. I mean,
I did get to see Space Jam, and it's one thing that I really liked about the first one over this is that they didn't make Jordan try to act so much. He was just play basketball, and you're not going to have to like the Looney Tunes are going to carry the story really,
right?
And we'll throw Bill Murray in here to help you out because
you can't go wrong with it.
Because you're not a good actor, you're a great basketball player and a great all around have all these great attributes, but acting is not it. No matter how many commercials for Nike you've done, you're just shooting and you're doing the same thing. You're playing basketball.
Yeah.
And there was a little bit more of an acting. They tried to get LeBron. They tried to pour more emotion, I think, into the story, when that's not even what the story was.
No.
I mean, there was the story. Yeah. I don't want to give anything away again. No spoilers. So, it was a rough watch.
So let me ask. Would you rather see LeBron? I mean, we've seen athletes come over into the realm of acting before. Some translate very well, some don't. Arnold was a weird one, whether you consider bodybuilding a sport or not. He's still an athlete.
Former bodybuilder here.
I was going to say, I'm a big fan of bodybuilding personally, but some people don't necessarily consider that a mainstream sport. However you feel about it, he was an athlete, in my opinion, that came over to the acting world, and one with a very, he had some detriments. He had a very strong accent. He came over. He was kind of hard to understand.
Well, and because of those, they didn't make him do a lot of emotional acting. I mean, he started as a robot,
right?
And then was, you know what I mean? And then was in some, the Conan series, which
Hercules in New
Not
York.
a lot of talking in that.
Oh gosh, that was his first one.
That was the first time I've seen. And they dubbed his voice.
Yeah, that's what made it bad.
Yeah,
it actually wasn't that bad, but the dubbing. You're just like,
I know, yeah.
Do you guys remember Serge Nubret when he came over?
Yes, a French bodybuilder.
Yes,
he was the one that competed against Arnold and Lou Ferrigno in Pumping Iron.
Yeah, he's
I remember
my
him.
favorite bodybuilder of all time.
Yeah, he
the
was
king
very
of
symmetrical.
Yep.
His legs weren't
It
quite
was
up
the
to
golden
snuff.
era. They didn't have, it wasn't necessary to have the blown out leg.
Yeah, I know, but still.
So,
all right, yeah, we're going into
bodybuilding.
bodybuilding.
We're devolving
so
from
back
Space
to the original
Jam.
question: would you have liked to have seen LeBron? Would you like to see him get more into acting after this experience? As somebody who's seen it, or would you say, to avoid spoilers here, would you say, hey?
I think he needs to go a different way.
Okay.
All right, so let's go ahead and change it up. Let's talk about Snake Eyes. G.I. Joe has finally put up another movie in regards to an individual, Snake Eyes. So what do you think about that one, Chris, coming up?
It looks good. It looks really good. I saw like some extended trailers and such, and a little research on it, and it looks really good.
Yeah, he was always my favorite G.I. Joe character
Sure.
as a kid, as
Yeah.
a toy. I remember having him, and we lived in this old house. And my brother left him on the heater, and it melted him. I cried for like 4 days. It was just,
Yeah,
it was just,
absolutely. He was the coolest of all the G.I. Joe
yes,
characters.
hands down. I mean, he
He
was
had
so
this.
mysterious.
Well, he's a ninja,
Didn't
man.
know, yeah, and in
Look,
the '80s, the ninja was
was-
the thing.
oh,
You could
right.
not
80s
tell.
was
Beverly
ninjas
Hills
were like,
Ninja.
Beverly
Yeah.
Hills Ninja.
The
Well,
what was
that
the
was-
one with
that
the
was a bad
brothers,
one.
the young
Three
the-
kids.
Yeah, the three
Three
kids.
ninjas.
Yeah,
Three
three
ninjas. Or whatever.
ninjas.
Yeah.
Teenage Mutant Ninja.
Teenage
Turtles,
Mutant
yeah,
Ninja Turtles was
everything
awesome as
ninja.
well.
You put the word ninja in front of anything, instantly.
Right.
You remember,
You know?
Chris, you remember
So-
that the second movie of G.I. Joe when The Rock and when he was
Retaliation, right?
Retaliation.
Yeah.
When,
Roadblock.
Yeah,
He played
Roadblock. When
yeah.
Roadblock and Snake Eyes were sparring, and what did The Rock say at the end? You recall what he said? Kind of something about the ninja. I'm like, oh, you ninjas. So
I'm really curious to see from the trailer. This is just from the trailer. Seems to really delve into the relationship of Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes because they were best friends growing up. Like,
Well, they were
according to the trailer.
Well, wasn't Shadow originally jealous of Snake Eyes? I mean, he has Snake Eyes has very humble beginnings, correct? I mean,
He
Yeah.
was Storm Shadow's the son of the leader of the
he's the rich son,
right,
then
and
Snake
the
Eyes is
family
kinda
takes in Snake
right,
Eyes.
he's kind of
saves
the poor
and
kid
trains
that they
him.
find.
Yeah, orphan maybe. I'm not
So
sure.
I will say I have a concern that they're going to try and put too much humor in the movie.
Yes, and it's a serious character.
Right,
And
and
there
I
shouldn't
see a
be-
lot of that here lately with these.
That's a lot in the Marvel, but I think that's trying to lighten it up for kids.
Right.
Yeah,
which is
but-
fine. I understand. But with a character like this, like you're saying, it's a very serious
Yeah,
character.
always
Do you
was.
think that could potentially be an issue going forward?
Well, see, I hope not, because Snake Eyes. I mean, one of the things I'm really curious about is, does he take a vow of silence, or does because in the original Snake Eyes, he had his vocal cords injured.
Yep.
I
or
thought
something.
I thought that was from Storm
Storm
Shadow.
Shadow,
Yep.
yeah.
He did, yeah. In the
So
cartoons.
in the movies, he took a vow of silence. So where are they going to go with that?
What's
I mean,
canon? What's canon?
Yeah,
here?
yeah.
What's the official storyline here? But who determines canon?
So
for the
far,
G.I.
I mean,
Joe
I-
universe?
at
yeah,
this-
I mean,
exactly.
they're
At
who
this
is
point,
the determiner?
the prior movies, they could at any point in time be like, nope.
yeah.
I
like
mean,
the-
there weren't anything
yeah.
that was like, oh my gosh, that's so good. You've got to.
the
Retaliation, I thought was better, but the
You
first
got
one
this
wasn't
better
that
movie.
good.
Wolverine's origin,
It was
where they
because
just
it was
threw
bigger
out
budget.
Deadpool.
Yeah,
technically.
but they just
Wade
don't make
Wilson, you guys
Cobra.
are like, Wade, what are you doing here?
Yeah,
It's like,
you
Yeah.
guys remember that?
Yeah.
They just throw it out like Wade Wilson is in Wolverine
Oh, yeah.
Origins, and then like Deadpool comes out. They're like, "Yep, nope, we don't care about any of that. That wasn't real."
So on to the next one, you guys. So we got Escape Room Tournament of Champions. Okay, so what
Is that a
what
horror?
highlight can we
Okay,
give on that
yeah.
one?
I don't know.
I
don't
think
know.
it looks.
We saw the
great.
trailer,
I was not impressed.
and I have no
Really?
idea what it was about. It was just like,
I
Well,
think
you
it
have to
I'm
looks
not
watch
a
the
horror
great.
guy. so-
I'm guessing there was
I-
an original movie. I'm guessing because it says like again, like they were.
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
this
There's
again.
Tournament
there's
of
an-
Champions, like someone won.
Wait,
the
was there
first
an
one, right?
original movie?
It-
that
it-
I don't know.
I'm
It
not
sounds like
aware
a
of?
mixture
So
of
here's
the
the
Hunger
Saw.
Games and
Right.
Saw, all that put together.
So here's the thing, though, is that I think that the adult movie demographic, if you will, needs something like this. I think this is something
Yeah.
that we've been missing, mystery fueled with. I think at the end of this movie, and I can't say I haven't seen it. Obviously it's not even out yet. I think we're all going to be frustrated at the end of this movie, and I think that's actually a good thing.
But why couldn't they go with a different direction, like something different than an escape room? Like,
Well,
you
the
know what I
escape
mean?
rooms are really popular now.
Yeah.
in pop
Oh,
So
culture.
that's
yeah.
why they're trying to piggyback off of the
Wichita has an
popularity.
escape room here somewhere, I believe.
Down in
No,
Delano,
with
they have
the-
one.
Yeah,
Bowling and
it's
the
a
bowling
pop
alley.
culture thing, and I think
Well-
it's a good idea to get on board with that.
The thing of that though, like culturally, like the reference, like in the '80s, it was all Jason and Freddy.
Right.
In the '90s,
true.
it was Scream.
Right.
And then the last couple of decades really didn't have a standout horror movie that kind of
Yep.
defined the decade, and I think Escape Room, from what I've seen, it could be.
We had the
This
Saw
decade.
maybe in the
Saw kind of had
Saw was in
Final
the 2000s.
maybe
Final
early
Destination,
2000s.
that, in my opinion, that was a comedy. Okay,
Right,
that was
right,
not-
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know if I would call that
Well,
horror.
and
That
that's
was
a
just
hard distinction. Though,
it was
to
so
make in these
absurd.
movies.
so over the top. If we were in Final Destination right now, I could go. through
Don't
the whole
start.
movie.
Don't you
okay,
start.
Okay, I
Wes,
could go
don't you
through-
start.
See, but that is
I think
Yeah.
it became too
The
much.
horror choked me.
Yeah, you would fall and then-
They got away from those horror movies and more into like zombie and vampire
Yeah.
movies.
And I think The Walking Dead kind of carried us. It gave us the horror movie fix
a
for the past
fill-in
10
kinda.
years. I think that kind of.
And
But that is a hard
Ash
balance.
versus the Evil
Yeah.
Dead was really good. Like the
Yeah,
That's a
but
great
again,
scene.
that's
That's
a
a-
comedy.
Well, I guess
No,
it is a
it's not
comedy.
horror
That
movie.
is funny.
it is a comedy.
So
I
do you
guess-
think that this movie will have the potential to be kind of like a Quentin Tarantino
It-
side offs? You know,
Honestly,
kinda,
guys, when I saw the trailer, I got kind of excited.
yeah,
I was just
thought
like,
it
oh,
was good,
oh,
genuinely.
okay, this is okay. They're doing something
Quentin
different.
Tarantino. That's taking it a stretch. I mean,
I mean,
know.
I'm not saying necessarily like Quentin Tarantino, but that kind of
Just kinda
side
pushing the-
genre. You know, that one
Yeah,
where we're in horror, but it's like, what is this really about? You know what I mean? Kind of.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna be frustrated. I'm hoping it's less of a purge and more
Yeah.
of a new genre, if you will.
So basically, you were
Okay.
saying just like a mystery, like nobody
Right.
knows nothing.
Right. I'm
First of
hoping
its
by the
kind,
end
yeah.
of this movie, we're like, what just happened? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
what? You know what I mean? I hope that it's. The problem with horror is that it's very easy to go too far. There's
Yeah.
reasons why, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, even though it's just a gore show, still attracts large audiences. It's
Wow.
not outside of the realm of being. There was a guy genuinely
Based on
walking
a true story.
right,
Yeah.
genuinely
Yeah,
walking
yeah,
around
yeah,
with a
yeah.
chainsaw and chopping people in half.
Yeah.
That's probably pretty gory.
Well, you know, like
Yeah.
Freddy versus Jason. You know, when they're just hacking and slashing each other. You know, during that fight scene, it's just like quacha, quacha, quacha. You know, like that, like, blood squirting everywhere. Like, you know what I mean? I was like, dude, all right, I get behind this. Right?
Like,
It's like
Yeah.
have
two
to
of my
find that
favorite
balance.
characters from the '80s are killing each
Yeah.
other. Like, yeah, man, I'll dig it.
Right.
Yeah.
But you
Well-
do
Well-
have to find that balance because
Yeah.
it is very easy with these to go. If they go to this point where it's like
Then it becomes
lasers
funny.
from satellites in space or killing, you know what I mean? Like
Then it becomes
could,
funny, silly.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
It becomes Ash
And
versus
we-
Evil Dead. Like you're just like,
Exactly.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
this is
Well,
obviously
try and
not
avoid
real. Like,
yeah.
All right, you guys. Well, that in that case is so tune into our show when we do the new segment of Silver Cosmos Review. We'll talk about more of the movies. So let's go ahead and take a quick break and thank our following sponsors.
Hey guys, have you ever seen those little towns in Kansas and wondered, what's there? Let me tell you about a hidden gem in Salina, Sky Trampoline. It is the perfect place for both family outings and spending the day with friends. They have large open trampoline jump court, a ninja course, a setup to test or develop your parkour skills, and that's not even close to everything. Additional fun can be had in their foam pit, dodgeball area, a laser maze, and even an arcade. They also have specialty events with black light lit trampolines and a DJ. Sky Trampoline is located at 1820 South 9th Street in Salina, Kansas, and is open every day until at least 9 most days and sometimes even later. Give Sarah a call at 785-491-1118.
Welcome back, everyone. So, Jesse, we got a new segment. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
We do. It's called Silver Cosmos Movie Reviews. We will be reviewing mostly the new movies. Yeah, I think that probably would be more new movies than older movies, or
We're gonna do a mixture of both, actually.
I mean,
So
I'd be
we're
down with
gonna do a broader spectrum of the movies. So we're gonna make what makes us unique and different is that overall, I'm gonna give you details of the directors. I'm gonna tell you also the characters that are playing, the plot, and then even take it another step further. Why not do the music composer? Hey, whatever works, right?
Okay.
But overall, I want us to, in general, just be able to just talk about the movie, have a good time with it, and then at the end we'll rate it 1 to 4 stars, and then hey, and what's the benefit of listening to it? You get to win tickets to a movie, you guys. So why not check us out? So all right, so moving on, you guys. So the moment is here. We are here to talk about the Marvel and DC hero and villains of the month. First up, representing the DC hero side, we got The Martian Manhunter.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Martian
I love it.
Manhunter.
Yeah, he did it. So
I love the
so
Manhunter.
Marquez, tell me a little bit about the Martian Manhunter.
Well, there's been a few different iterations of him. He made his first appearance in Detective Comics in 1955. He was one of my favorite. He's one of the few people. They say Martians in the DCU are one of the few races whose powers are on par with Kryptonians as far as raw strength. I love the type of obscure character, his telepathy. He's lived for like 1,000,000 years. Wisdom. It's millions of he's had millions of years of wisdom to draw from, and his skill set. I mean, I think he's one of the most powerful beings. I won't say in the DCU, but on DC Earth, current next to Superman. I would put him Superman, Shazam, Martian Manhunter. To me, that they're the three powerful. And then Wonder Woman, maybe.
Well, don't they have, Batman has his contingency plan. Martian Manhunter is the only one that's kind of a blank.
Well,
the only
fire.
That's the
Fire.
only thing.
But
they
they
have,
haven't
right?
really said if that's mental or physical.
Right.
If that's a mental weakness or a physical one.
Right.
I mean, no one really knows for sure. I
You
don't
know-
even think Martian Manhunter knows for sure.
Right.
it's a
It's a pure avoidance thing.
But his real name is John Jones.
Yep.
He has. They used to at one point in time they used to call him Mr. Biscuits. Yeah. That was that. Yeah,
It doesn't
yeah.
sound threatening.
No, no, it was one of his disguises. They
Just
called
a
him
beggar?
Mr.
I mean,
Yeah. He was just he was an alien called Mr. Biscuit.
that's cool.
Yeah. It's just
I'll
yeah.
take. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
If I was given a nickname Mr. Biscuits, I'd be all right with that. That's a cool nickname.
But
I can dig it, man.
yeah.
You know?
I believe that. Yeah.
What's your name? My name's Mr. Biscuit. Nice to meet you.
Pleasure to meet
Yeah.
you, Mr. Biscuits.
So what about you,
Yeah.
Chris? What do you know about Martian Manhunter?
Most of my Martian Manhunter comes from the TV shows, and he was a pretty main character in the old Justice League animated stuff.
Yeah.
I've always liked him for those powers, man. He
Yeah.
can just pass through walls, or
Shape shifting,
yeah,
telepathy, invisibility. Yeah.
It
Yeah,
sounds
it-
very
it-
similar to me. Like,
mind control, all kinds
right,
of
but it
stuff.
sounds to me like when they talk about like what the human brain is capable of at like maximum performance or whatever.
Right,
To me,
Like,
that's what he kind of.
100%.
Yeah, that's what he kind of is.
Well,
Change
Yeah.
matter.
The Green Martian race is an ancient race.
Yes, they
Right.
are.
And
yeah.
they shared, you would think, like you were saying, very wise, not only old wise, but they shared with their telepathy. They kind of shared all thoughts, almost like a hive mind.
Pretty
Not
much.
fully like bored or anything like
No,
fully
no,
assimilated,
no,
but
no.
they could, he could share all the memories from his dad, who had, millions of years of
Yeah.
memories.
Communication was instant. There was no delay of understanding or
Right.
process. I could
Yeah.
give you the understanding of what I'm speaking of immediately.
I think a Martian Manhunter movie, actually a standalone movie, would be a great idea.
Well, and
I mean, just
with the
I
new
mean,
Zack Snyder release,
I know.
he
I mean,
made
just
the
a
appearance. And all,
spin-off.
it's
Yeah.
like,
a spin-off from that, I think would work so well. I mean, you can dive into his past, I mean,
Right.
because that character alone, you could say, okay, how did he get there? How did he get to
There's
be a
no end to
high-ranking,
content to it.
a high-ranking
Yeah.
military official? What happened?
Right.
That created so much mystique. I was thinking, okay, where could they go with that? Let's go back.
Do they
Let's
talk
figure out
about
who.
the Martian? Is there a separate comic of the Martian race of him, like a standalone
Yeah,
one?
he's done quite a few. That's where he got the nickname Mr. Biscuit.
Okay. Okay. I
Yeah,
didn't know if they had a
he,
standalone series for
He
him in
was
the comics
a
or.
comic book series called Stormwatch that was released in, I think, 2011.
Okay.
And they kind of explored that. They kind
A
of
little bit more,
touched
yeah.
back on what happened and how he came to Earth and everything, and why he came to Earth, and how he's fascinated with the contradictions of the human mind.
Right.
And that's why he stays.
Right.
Because he sees humanity as a puzzle, a conundrum.
Yeah, it's illogical to him what
Yeah.
we process on a day-to-day or at least in that universe, a process day-to-day thinking for
Yeah.
humans is, completely illogical to him. So yeah, it would be a whole new world for him.
Yeah.
And they've done a lot of good shows on him. I mean, he was in Smallville. Remember that show, Smallville?
Yes.
He was
Smallville
on
is
there.
really good.
I remember that.
Supergirl.
Yeah.
But when you talk
Yeah.
about
Supergirl, the most recent
the Supergirl.
iteration.
Yeah.
Well,
Aside
one
from
thing-
the Zack Snyder cameo.
what I really liked about the Zack Snyder Justice League cut is when he made his scene in that, even though it was considered a dream of Bruce Wayne. I liked how they finally brought him in. That was amazing to bring him in.
Well, but it makes sense that he probably was. It was probably telepathic. Like it was a dream that he entered.
Seeing as how the Manhunter has the ability to telepathically communicate,
right?
He could have implanted that,
right?
And easily. I mean, you can go anywhere with
an Inception kind of thing.
Yeah, you can say
going layers deep in the consciousness.
Yeah.
You remember the actor that did the Zack Snyder?
The actor that played the Martian Manhunter. Oh, he plays Harold Cooper in the Blacklist. Right. I forgot his real name.
It is Calvin Swanwick.
Calvin Swanwick.
So we're just making sure we get his name out there. But
Calvin
indeed,
Swanwick.
He did a great job portraying Martian Manhunter. So, all right, well, one last question. Do you rank him top in the DC universe, as in power-wise, like you said? I just want to know a little bit more in depth. Where do you rank him in the DC with the Supermans?
I would give him a rating from 1 to 10. I would give him a 9.
Okay,
a
so
high
he's up
9,
there.
high solid 9.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the most powerful.
What is his most powerful iteration?
I think the most recent one, the Stormwatch version. Okay. Yeah, because he. One of the things I really loved about the character, though, in that series, is he would think before he would act. You know, I think there's too many heroes that just jump in and beat the
Well, we associate bravery with our heroes, and a lot of times bravery is
just reactive.
Right.
You know, as opposed to he's a thinking hero.
Yep.
You know, like Batman.
Yes. There's always a plan for John Jones.
But Batman is more of a tactical assessor, whereas the Manhunter, he's more of an internalized hero. He thinks about why are you doing this? How can I get you not to do this? Yeah. You know,
the last one to take action, the first one to think about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So with the Martian Man, who would be his arch villain?
Oh, within the DCU,
the White Martians, I thought.
Yeah, that's who they fight. That's who the war was.
The war was
within on Mars.
I mean, he comes to terms with Megan.
Yeah, if you watch
later.
Young Justice.
Young Justice also in Super. I mean, it's.
I think a cool, like, if you had to do a Marvel and DC crossover, I think a good matchup would be him and Vision.
Yeah.
Ooh. I think Vision and Manhunter. I don't know why this was never done. As far as I know, no one has ever done a Marvel.
Marvel and DC were always, one guy.
I know, but I think that would be a cool matchup, is Vision and the Martian Manhunter.
So
I would love to see how they would, bounce the logic off of each other. I mean, just the banner between them, to me, would be enough. I would rather listen to them talk than watch them fight, actually, believe it or not, just to see how
it would.
An actual conversation between
what would that be like, Right.
Very epic.
Well, there would be probably no words spoken.
I think they would be fast. I think they would be intrigued with each other.
Right.
Yeah.
Who are you? How did you? You know what I mean?
So who do you think gets more out of it, though? I think Vision would get more out of talking with John Jones than vice versa.
Yeah, because Vision is just hard data, whereas Jean is experience.
And Jean is comes across that kind of technology probably at some point in his life. Well, I mean, even Martian tech was would have been highly advanced.
So then back to the villain thing, though. If you had to pick a villain to really put John Jones to the test, who would you choose?
A DC villain.
Yes. The greatest challenge for him to conquer.
I think he'd have trouble countering a speedster, even though he's fast. I think
original Godspeed, maybe.
Yeah, Godspeed or Zoom. I think if you could put him, because of the speed, when you run, you create friction. That's fire, heat.
Also,
he'd have to overcome.
They can go fast enough to counteract his density change.
The reason why I didn't choose a fire-based villain is because that's too easy. That's too cliche. Too.
Well, he still has the mental prowess over a fire-based villain as well. He still has the mental dominance, whereas against a speedster.
Yeah, I think it'd be hard.
You can't react fast enough to counteract their thought process.
And they say most speedster. I know Godspeed, for instance. I think they say his neurochemistry is different, so it'd have a hard time.
Well, their vibrational frequency is different, so that may play a part in his effect on matter as well.
And their minds tend to be faster, so it'd be hard to, even though he can read.
Well, they have to process faster because they're moving faster.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say Zoom. Yeah,
Okay.
or Godspeed, one
Okay.
of those high-end speedsters.
Well, and to the audience, if you have any info or any questions, please feel free drop a comment down below on our YouTube page. So we would like to answer a little bit more of their questions. But we're gonna go ahead and move on, you guys, to the DC villain, and the person that made it was Poison Ivy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so
Good
Poison
old
Ivy.
Yeah.
So she made her debut in 1966 on the Batman comic issue 181. So, Jesse, do you know anything about Poison Ivy?
A little bit. Yeah, right. No, because wasn't she originally a botanist, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
she was
Yeah.
fine.
That
Pamela Isley.
I guess
Yeah.
I don't remember how she got her powers.
We'll tune that into you.
Accident, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
So what
Accident
happened was
in the
Dr.
lab.
Green, Dr. Green and Dr. Isley, if you want to say that, they are botanists. And what happened was that Dr. Green injected her, so she was like an experiment. So then afterwards, to get her revenge, after she found out all the things that she accumulated, got her revenge on Dr. Green.
Nice.
Excellent.
Getting
I can
back
always
at him.
support that.
Yeah.
Revenge is
I like
awesome.
Yeah, a good revenge story is always nice to hear. You know.
So throughout the comic books and the films, let's do a little bit of both here. So, Chris, what is one of the things that Pamela, aka Poison Ivy, what does she stand out to you?
Well, one of the things was when Uma Thurman played her in the mid '90s. One of the better things of that film, that particular iteration of
We're gonna go there.
George Clooney.
Okay.
Well, that's one of the things. The other thing that has always stood out with me, she's got kind of that similar complex to like Catwoman, in that she's got. I mean, she in her own story, she's the hero. You know, she's trying to save the world and save nature, and
Right.
Yeah.
got to kill out this disease of mankind to do it. Unfortunately, that's her little hang up. So she's an intriguing character. I don't think she gets explored enough in the larger universe. They tried to do it in that one bad movie, but she was carried by, because that also had Two-Face in that one. I think.
Penguin,
Yeah,
I
Mr.
And
Freeze.
Mr. Freeze, yeah, Arnold
Yeah.
is more than Mr. Like there's
Yeah.
so much going on in that
Bane.
movie.
It was in
Well,
that.
I think
Yeah,
we're
that
very
was a really
limited
bad
as to
version
her
of Bane
potential
in
as
that
well.
one.
Well, yeah,
Bane
it
was
did.
in that movie.
Yeah, they had a version.
He was
of
her
Bane.
backup or whatever.
Yeah,
Like her,
yeah,
he
he
was her
was-
bodyguard.
Oh yeah, he
Yeah.
had some weird outfit on.
What I thought was unique about the character was one of the things that always struck me as strange was the poison kiss.
Mhm.
Okay, along with the pheromone that manipulates you or
Right.
takes control over you. I mean, I always thought that was kind of like her niche thing, you know, because
Right.
no other character had anything like that. It was just it was passionate but yet deadly.
Right.
You know, I mean, it was
The
just,
sweet seductress kind of thing.
Sure.
Yeah,
The
you know,
Venus
that,
flytrap. You know?
yeah, that always made that character interesting, and they tried to explore that in that movie. You know, I'm not gonna mention the movie because I just even back then I was just like, oh, come on,
It was bad.
you know. But no, that's one of the things I always felt like, okay, that would make her a really obscure villain because I've never seen anything like that prior to you know, and there's no Marvel equivalent to Poison Ivy.
Well,
I don't
we
think.
only see
Yeah,
her
not
in the
really.
Batman stories, right? We don't actually know. What if she were to go to a different planet and interact with their, you know,
Could that
their
be?
their
Having
flora,
a
their
young
fauna?
daughter, she is in the Superhero Girls cartoon, which is
Oh.
a DC young lady.
So
she's good.
Oh,
It's
bad?
Yeah, I haven't
Spoiler.
actually watched it. I just know she's in it.
Spoiler.
Yeah, spoiler.
But one thing was is in the well, here's the thing. In the 90s, I did appreciate Bob Kane in the Batman animated series. To my right here, you know, thank you to Prairie Dog Comic
yeah.
Books here in our town of Wichita, Kansas. Thank you guys. In those comic book here, they give her more of a backstory, so they go more
Okay.
in depth. And the thing is, throughout time, her popularity was going up, especially teaming up with Harley Quinn, and also being part of the villains. At times, she'll cross over with the Joker, Penguin, and so she has given Batman a hard time.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I do appreciate with Poison Ivy. But when we go back to the movie, I felt like they try to make her as a comic or what are they called?
Comic relief.
Comic relief, And with Bane, with his big dork self, that part just it didn't make no sense. Thank you, Christopher Nolan, for making Tom Hardy a good Bane. Thank you.
Well,
I appreciate
Bane
that.
is a genius, correct? I mean, he's actually extremely intelligent, correct?
Yeah.
He's a military strategist.
Right.
and-
He's
In that iteration, he was just like a thug at the place that she got.
Yeah,
changed
that
We're
was
really
the
just
thing,
now
yeah.
getting into this wider DC universe, and I think Ivy would be a great villain to go into this wider universe. We're preparing for Justice League expanding, and we're preparing for larger villains and more effect. I think she would be one to kind of throw in there as at the very least, a step on to something bigger.
I think it'd be cool to see her go in with like the Birds of Prey style, the Harley
Yes, I
Quinn
remember that.
emancipation
but a
style.
different, but
Yeah,
a different
that
writing.
would've
The sequel was not that great. I didn't care for the Birds of Prey
as much.
Yeah,
I definitely think it could have been done better for sure. I mean, it's a hard premise when you're getting into one. For some reason, DC really wants to push these villains. They really
It's
want to
kind of
push
a
these.
Yeah,
for
it
something
seems
different,
like
maybe?
it just.
I'm hoping it's an origin story thing. I'm hoping it's here's all of our villains. Now watch our superheroes kick their asses. You know what I mean? Like,
well, it's just. I think it's a matter like you're telling the same story from a villain's perspective. You know, maybe
Right.
that's it. Maybe they just want to give you a different. It's almost as if we're the judges, and the heroes say, "Okay, no, look, this is what happened," and the villains go, "Oh, no, this is what happened."
and DC
And then
does
we
do a
make-
great job of showing their villains in a different light.
Yeah, they do.
Great job of that. Whereas Marvel is like, Thanos is a bad guy. He's always been a bad
Yeah,
guy.
you know who's bad.
And he
Yeah.
will do bad things. Whereas Harley Quinn was a psychiatrist who fell in love.
Yeah.
That's a story people can kind of assimilate with. They
made bad
you know,
choices from there.
right, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
don't
and
get me
they're-
wrong. She's obviously psychotic and she does terrible things, but
Yeah.
she's also still a human being. Thanos is not a human being.
No.
I cannot, compare my thought process to Thanos' thought process.
Sure.
I can compare myself to, say,
The Joker.
Yeah,
Breaking-
exactly.
Going cracking.
Well, you see the different iterations of the Joker,
Yeah.
the anarchist, the sociopath, the psychopath. You know what I mean? There's different ones. Everybody can pick a version here and say, "Hey, I actually got Heath Ledger's Joker. Loved it.
See, I'm a
Great.
Jack Nicholson
Right.
guy. I mean, that's my
Everybody-
guy. I mean, I remember when the first time I saw that, I was
Wait till
like,
they get a load
"Whoa,
of me.
yeah." I mean,
No,
you
but
know.
I bring that up, and
Yeah.
everybody has one that
Yeah.
they,
Yeah, yeah.
they
Oh, absolutely.
truly, and you know what I mean. There's a
Yeah.
villain that they enjoy and an iteration of it that they enjoy the most.
Well, and they're about to bring, with the Flash coming out, they're supposed to be bringing in the multiverse concept into DC, even including like cameos of Michael Keaton's Batman.
Yep.
And
Oh wow.
so even bringing in some of that to be like, hey, everything you've seen from DC can be canon because
Yeah.
of the multiverse.
Yeah, yeah, and
So
that
the stuff you see on CW, that's all canon, sure.
yeah,
They're just in the multiverse over
the
there.
multiverse ties everything together.
Right.
Yeah.
It brings everything. It gives it a continuity. It sticks it there. Like, okay, yeah, look, see, that was all us. We planned that.
Yep.
Even though we really
it-
did. You
it's
know?
some good
really set
easy
themselves
plot.
up, but
Yeah.
I think DC has had some poor showings of late as far as their movies and
Well-
kind of the audience. DC to me has always been the darker version of it, which is why
I think if
people
they
like
actually
Well, it
let it
should
go
be.
that way,
Right.
if they, I think that's one of the reasons Zack Snyder originally left Justice League is because they wanted it to be more Marvel-esque, more family-friendly.
Right.
And I think that was a mistake.
It absolutely
Yes.
was.
I
Look
think that
at,
was
I
just
mean,
completely.
you look at the
No,
two
no.
films side to side, and you're like,
Yes!
that's not it. The Joss Whedon one is not a film. It's
When I watched the
cut up
Snyder,
edits
Right.
of
when I
action
watched the
shots.
Snyder cut, I was just
I was
you know,
amazed.
I'm like, why did we not see this?
Why was this not the
Absolutely.
original? Why
Yeah,
did we
I
not
was
let
like,
this come
what?
out at the beginning? I'll sit there for 4.5 hours
Yes.
and watch that movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And he could have totally
Or
made it
two-part
into
series.
two part.
Yeah.
It could. There
Yeah.
was definitely,
I'm actually glad they
if
did
given
it
the
in one.
chance, he could have
Yeah.
easily edit it to
Right.
make a 2-part series.
I am
out.
glad they did do the one long. I would like like Lord of the Rings. They were long movies. When you went to go see it in the movie theater, you said, "All right, I'm turning my
But-
phone off for 4 hours."
Yeah, that's true.
and I'm gonna go, and you could just sit there. And to me, if I'm gonna
Really
go to the
dig
movies,
into it.
I want to escape. You know what I mean?
Oh,
I
yeah.
want to go, and it's dark. nobody else exists around me. If you cough in the movie theater, I will yell at you. Like, you know, like I'm here for this. Don't ruin this experience. But there's also that conglomeration at the end of these movies.
Mhm.
I can look at, we can go watch it. And I can look over and I can be like,
Yeah.
that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Even clap at the
That
end
was
if it's
yeah,
really
clap,
good.
you
There's
know,
a couple.
What about this, Chris? So what about this? So to wrap it up with Poison Ivy. So if we did a standalone, now my requirement would be don't make it like Sharon Stone Catwoman.
right.
That was just terrible. Look at the one with the Halle Berry.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh
Not like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I said Sharon Stone first. So.
Well,
I think you got to
Well,
go more
yeah,
like
come on.
the Joaquin
How would you do
Phoenix.
Poison Ivy?
I'd do more of a Joaquin Phoenix
Joker.
watching the break. Like, what's obviously
The
she has
origin
stuff
story?
to get the powers. I mean, she goes through bad experimentations in some comic books. Others, there's accidents. You know, they can. However, she gets the powers is one thing, but what happens to her mind that makes her be like, well, I pretty much just want to kill everybody.
Right.
And why does she love? What's that? What's the psychoanalysis behind why she is focused so deeply on plants?
I would say maybe perhaps she's tired of the global warming. Let's say she goes to the Amazon,
that
go to
would-
the Amazon.
Oh, like a
and
modernized.
like a
It
breaking
is a
point.
current topic. It is
Yeah,
definitely
that's
a
one
current
of the
Because
most
see,
pressing issues.
In the comic books, she was in Seattle. She's from Seattle.
Right.
So then she moves to Gotham. So why not do it to where she has her breaking point somewhere around there in, like I said, the Amazon, have a breaking point, then go back, study, and then from there on, she gets introduced with all the I don't know what's the proper word for it, but overall something happens to her, and next thing you know it, she develops in that character. That's something dark, and something they can
probably.
do.
I mean, if it's going to be action, and she'd probably be the bad guy that's going after a worse guy, like
Yeah.
the guy that experimented on her.
Yeah, or
But she
something.
doesn't care about life. She just wants to take him out. And
Yeah, I think that
She's-
would be a good premise.
She's a
for
good
a
example
movie.
of a
She's just-
villain that's hard to hate.
that's
I
what I
think-
mean. Like,
Right. And I
and then
think
if you
that,
see more of why, you'll even be like,
that origin story,
you'll get that
where,
Suicide Squad kind of thing going
I
on.
don't
Yeah.
want it to be where there's like a little plant in a pot, someone breaks it,
Yeah.
and she gets all mad.
Yeah,
And she
and
was
here
actually
the
go.
Arkham series, the way Poison Ivy was portrayed in that,
Yes.
that was really cool. I love the way.
The game series.
Yeah, the Arkham.
Is that where
See,
she's
I
in all
would've
green,
put-
right?
Yeah, or she's in red.
She has that really like super red fiery hair,
Mhm.
and she has her her red jumpsuit on. She wears through that whole game.
You
Yeah.
guys really scarred
Yeah.
me with the Uma Thurman. It's just,
But
we were-
Uma's pretty hot though. I mean,
We were talking
Yeah.
about
No, it's not-
multiverses, and you know what brings out the multiverse that just ended? Our villain for Marvel.
well, speaking
That's what I'm
of
speaking
that,
of it for.
Well, let's go ahead and move on. So on the Marvel side, first up on our villain side, we got Loki.
The god
Yeah.
of mischief and chaos and
Yeah, so
all
let's go
kinds
ahead
of
and
things.
well, tell me a little bit about Loki, Cameron.
So Loki, from more of a mythological standpoint, there's definitely some deviations, obviously, from
Comics and
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
some are good, some are bad. One thing that I think they've done kind of okay with is showing Loki as not a human being, if you will.
Yeah.
If you go back to mythology, Loki is not male, not female. He is a horse sometimes. He is he's everything. I mean, he is the god of magic. He can become whatever he desires. And I think they do a good job, not necessarily of emphasizing that, but making it very clear that he's not human. He's not going to have the same thought process as a human. To you, he's evil. To him, once again, like we were just saying about Ivy here, he's kind of the hero in his story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Most of his problems stem from the jealousy he has of his brother.
Yeah.
And they do also a great job of showing that as well. So I think paying homage, they did okay from that standpoint.
when he has that internal battle of that he's jealous, but he also still does love his.
It's his
like,
brother.
Yeah,
he
he
does
loves it,
still
yeah.
like.
Yep.
Right.
Right. But Loki will pursue his own interest
Absolutely.
before he allows his feelings for somebody else to enter.
The
Absolutely.
ultimate trickster.
Right.
Yeah.
And he is. I do wish that they would show him. He definitely has the comedic relief and stuff. You know, he's funny. Marvel Universe. I wish they would show more. He's as powerful. Maybe not in like a brute punching contest.
Right.
No.
But if you gave him an hour, I
yeah.
don't think Thor wins that fight. You know, I mean, he is a genius. He is capable of all manner of things.
Well, I think. I'm sorry. Go
I
ahead.
was going to say, just on the mythology thing, he gives birth, I think, in mythology to
Hell.
Ragnarok.
Well, he gives
The
birth
actual
to
snake.
Fenrir and Jormungandr. They are both his children.
Mm.
Fenrir is actually bound, and this is how Balder loses his arm.
Yeah.
Is
Balder the Brave.
yes. So Balder loses his arm to Fenrir because Odin is prophesied to die to Fenrir in Ragnarok. So Odin, obviously being the wise one, the traveler,
Mm-hmm.
wants him bound. And Balder, not knowing this, goes and they chain him and they come up with some excuse right now. But Fenrir says, okay, but you put your arm in my mouth, and if you betray me, and they betray him, and Balder gets screwed. Kind of is how that goes.
Okay.
Jormungandr is the world snake.
Yes,
He
the
is
world
prophesied
serpent.
to
Yeah.
kill Thor in Ragnarok.
Yes.
So Ragnarok did all right, but not really, in my sense.
The movie. you mean?
Yes, the movie, yes.
Yeah. It was some,
Fenrir is also massive,
yeah. the world.
incomprehensibly massive,
Yeah.
and incomprehensibly, he kills Odin, the Allfather.
Right.
Yeah.
He is powerful, but that's what I'm saying. These are Sleipnir is also a child of Loki, Odin's steed, the fastest horse
In
you know,
in all the
of
9 realms.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, so the beings that come from Loki are
Obviously,
Yeah,
he's
and
powerful.
let's
Right,
not
I
forget
mean-
Hela was originally Loki's daughter, not Odin's.
correct. Yes.
And the way they portrayed that in Ragnarok was that was Loki's
backwards.
sister.
Right.
You know, and I remember watching that going, oh, what? Okay, they changed that up. Okay, well, let's just go with it. But,
It is frustrating to an extent. I think you have to change some things to incorporate it into a
Movie.
universe like that, a
Sim-
fictional
yeah.
universe like that.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
modernization, things of that nature. And I think they did okay. I'll
Yeah.
give them a 6 out of 10 on their incorporation from the mythological stand.
And
Okay.
I did like, I don't know if everyone's seen the show yet, but it's kind of like we were talking with the DC villains, how they brought a little bit of humanity to him. Like, why
Yeah.
is he, like, seeing
Right.
inside him,
what makes him how he is.
and what,
you know.
or what makes a Loki, what,
Yeah.
What is
Right.
Loki? Why does
Right.
he think this
Yeah.
way? Why does
and
he
why,
do these
when
things?
all thrown to the void, they're the only things that remain.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Loki will be Loki, but I do wish that they would make him. I wish the power factor.
I
would
think
be
he's
there.
going to be getting
Yeah.
stronger. I wouldn't be surprised if they wind up replacing Thor in the Avengers with Loki.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
curious
as
to
they
see-
expand the, they're trying to change out all the previous Avengers with new
Right.
models, basically.
yeah, and they're
The
actually
Asgardian get that replaces Thor, maybe.
So
is-
my understanding is that was due to budget, correct?
I think it's that, and plus, I mean, actors
Mar-
get old. I mean, shoot, these guys been working on hard movies for
Right.
15
I
years.
can't
Robert
understand.
Downey
I
Jr.
cannot see a budget being a factor with Disney.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's the
mean,
thing,
that's
though,
just
is that I think that, like, with Robert Downey Jr., I'm pretty sure they stated openly his contract
Was
is
getting too big.
much. We
Well,
absolutely
especially
love
to
him.
do another.
He wouldn't budge. They wouldn't
He,
budge.
that's because he's
and
like,
they
I
killed
don't
him.
want to do
They-
this again
Yeah.
for the like. I mean,
Right.
they're creative types, that he wants to.
Yeah.
I just read he said that Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. If you haven't seen that, it's a
Yeah.
great movie from the
Really?
early 2000s.
It didn't do well, but
At
it
the
was a
time,
good movie.
I think
It was
it's
a good
got
movie, yeah.
87, 80.
Well, and they are going to be
80% on
looking for the
Rotten
next
Tomatoes.
10 to 15. And I do
Yeah.
think that Tom Hiddleston is a guy who can give you at least 5.
He could give you a couple, like another big movie.
He's
or
got
two.
3 movies in him, in my
Yeah.
opinion, I think.
Well, they're
and-
laying the groundwork. If you guys watch the post credit scenes on these shows where the lady, I forgot, I can't think of her name, but
Valentina.
yeah, she comes and gets
She was on the. And
yeah, she's
Sorry,
getting
I don't-
the Dark Avengers. She's doing the Dark Avengers was a
Seems to
comic book
be.
series where they got U.S. Agent to be Captain America. They got Ares to be Thor. They got the Red Hulk to be Hulk. They actually
Is the
convinced They convinced Venom to be Spider-Man.
Hey,
So they're
on, that, on,
essentially
that, on that,
taking-
Marquez, real quick, is the Red Hulk? Is it still Ross?
Yeah, Thunderbolt Ross.
Okay.
Yeah, he is
'Cause
Thunderbolt Ross.
you know, there's a new upcoming
So-
Thunderbolts.
Yeah,
his
so
team's
that
coming
they
out,
may
so-
touch on that, but the Dark Avengers were villains masquerading as heroes.
Right.
So
So
they
do
may
you guys think that he'll
get-
be
it's
a hero?
possible. It's because Loki at one time he does become the Sorcerer Supreme.
I could,
Right.
He takes
Yes.
Doctor Strange's place.
Yep.
And
I
I
could-
thought that was a perfect fit. I was like,
I-
oh,
They definitely could do it with, especially depending on how the successes of Suicide Squad with the villain team ups, and you know James Gunn's one's going to be coming out, and that's going to
Oh.
do great. So, what more incentive does Disney have to be like, okay, let's get something a little darker out there, not on Disney Plus? They can put it out.
I
I
feel
would
like
see a
somebody
Suicide
else
Squad
needs to do it
becoming-
besides Disney. I mean, I know they have the rights to it, but
What do you guys think about Sony's interaction?
yeah, Venom was good, and I'm looking forward to
Carnage.
Yeah,
What do you think
Carnage
about
is-
them actually making Venom kind of a good guy? Like on this topic here,
Well, an
Maybe-
anti-hero was they were big in the 90s. Anti-heroes
Right.
are heroes that will
Punisher.
kill
Punisher,
people. Yeah,
Deadpool,
Spawn, Blade.
Spawn.
Yeah,
Blade, one of my all-time,
Wolverine.
absolute all-time favorites.
That's gonna be a
Wolverine
good
is
one.
my favorite.
yeah,
from-
anti-hero. Wolverine
yeah.
was the guy. I
Yeah.
mean, you
To
couldn't-
really start it.
I was
Yeah, he kinda-
very upset with how they ended Wolverine because if you go to the
Yeah,
comic books, he is unkillable. He is
Yeah.
genuinely unkillable. You cannot kill Wolverine.
Mutant power just
Right. You
keeps
can
going.
only hope to contain him for however long.
Yeah,
But again, that's
but
Hugh
again,
Jackman
yeah,
getting old.
exactly. Yeah, he said he didn't want it. Just like with Dave Bautista,
Yep.
saying that he can't really portray
Yeah.
Drax the Destroyer.
Which Drax is
Otherwise-
way more powerful than they made him in the
Yeah,
he
he's
is insanely powerful.
almost Hulk level.
Yeah.
in
Very
one
close.
iteration, yeah.
Very close. Punches Thanos and hurts him.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
genuinely hurts him.
But
But
Loki.
back to Loki. Do you guys think that Loki will continue being played by Tom Hiddleston, and do you think that he will continue in the role that he is now? So in the show so far, you guys have been keeping up with the show.
Yeah, I have.
What is your, if you had to give him, is he chaotic neutral? Is he chaotic? I mean, he's clearly probably a chaotic, correct? There's no
Yeah,
you can't guess what he's gonna do.
no, definitely.
So
It's
we're
just-
gonna say chaotic, correct? But is he neutral? Is he evil? Is he chaotic good? Where would you put him on that spectrum?
Well,
I think he's more in the neutral side,
Okay.
that he's not good or evil. He does good things, he does bad things. More bad things that we know about.
Right.
But I think they're trying to change that a little bit.
if this is gonna sound kind of, I mean, if when you look at things that change people to their core, one of the things that does change people is love.
Right.
You know, and now that they're Loki is technically in love with himself.
Right.
I
Which
guess.
is
Awkward.
definitely
So
he
I'm
is
thinking.
definitely capable
So
of it.
I mean, so I'm thinking like, okay, maybe he is. Maybe that will change
Yeah,
him.
he is
You know, I
definitely
mean, you
capable of it.
talk
I
to
mean-
people who, especially when it's new and fresh.
Right.
You know, you talk to people that have been married for a while
Yeah,
versus
that's a
you
little
talk to new
different
people that
story.
have people who just meet.
Right.
It's different. I mean, I'm not for better or for worse, but I'm saying I think the character now that he's in love, I think
The
that's going to
effect
show.
upon the individual is
Yeah.
drastically different from the beginning towards.
So I think we're going to
latter.
see a drastic change.
Okay.
In the character, personally.
Well, how about
Because of
this? Look at it like this. So when you saw him in the first Loki movie, with Thor the movie, you could tell very villain.
Yeah.
Then the sequel, and then I think it was on the third one where he kind of calmed down Ragnarok, right? He
Yeah,
was kind
he
of a little
kinda-
bit more neutral.
It's development of maturity in my mind.
And,
Yeah.
and then
Right.
also in the Infinity War, we had to see him go. But then now we're watching him in the show. It just made me root for Loki for everything now.
Yeah, I am
don't know
rooting.
if that's
I'm pulling
because
for
his
him. Yeah.
his character
I'm-
Oh,
evolved.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I mean he's. Yeah, you know, I'm actually yes. Come on, please, Loki. You know.
Do we think that we have a better actor potentially out? Now, keep in mind, like I said,
He
he
can
could be
change.
portrayed as any individual. He could be any color. He could be a Martian. He could be he could be anything he wanted. I mean, if you're
I
basing this off of his
suspect they'll keep
potential
it as
power,
Tom Hiddleston
Okay.
as long as he can.
Yeah.
Just because
would
if
you
he
pick
could
somebody
be anything,
differently?
and that's what he's chosen for a millennia.
I
that's gonna
agree.
make
Stick
him
with
change.
stick with him. He's
He's only
unless
40
they
years old.
can get
He
a
just turned
good-
40.
So he's
That's not, I mean, I'm 47. That's
You're
not
right.
old. So-
Right. Well, I'm not saying anything against Tom
Yeah.
Hiddleston. I think he's a great actor. I do think he is good for the role.
Yeah. Oh,
But they are
yeah.
saying they're not going to keep signing.
That's what I'm worried
nine
about.
film contracts for people.
So if you
Yeah.
were going to choose somebody, now keep in mind we're going to be looking at somebody younger. You know, I mean, not saying that he is old, but they will be looking for somebody to carry a long contract where they can save money over time as he gets more popular. Who do you think that would be?
That's a tough pick. There's not a lot of younger people that I
Timothy
can think of that would be
Chalamet.
a good villain.
Right.
Well,
you
someone
gotta
from
think
the
these guys-
Disney Club.
40 is not old by any means.
Freddie Prinze Jr.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I think you make a good
I
move.
can dig it.
He just killed the whole conversation.
Okay.
All right, so moving on. So now we're going to save the best for last. He is one of my favorites, and he is one of the Marvel heroes representing the Marvel Knights. It is the man with without fear or no fear?
Without fear.
Same thing.
Okay, so
It's the same thing.
we'll edit that later.
Okay.
The man,
The
absent
man
fear.
known as Daredevil.
Yes.
Yes, Daredevil.
Daredevil.
So a little
The
bit
devil
about
of Hell's
Daredevil
Kitchen.
here. He was created by Stan Lee and Bill Everett. He appeared in issue 1 of Daredevil back in 1964,
Hmm.
and he is Matthew Murdock.
Yes.
So one of the best lawyers in Hell's Kitchen. So we're going to start this off with Jesse. What do you know about Daredevil?
I mean, I feel like, lawyer by day, crime fighter by night, trying to make Hell's Kitchen a better place.
I like that. Chris?
I love Daredevil. He's helping the community with the Hell's Kitchen. That seems to be his thing, to going around and helping the community. Obviously, well, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's a little bit to say anything about someone that's he's a role model for blind kids. I don't know about that. That might be too much on the nose or something. But I think he's pretty cool. The Netflix series is one of my all-time favorite superhero comic hero series. That the episode 2, the scene in the hallway, is just one of the best shot
no
scenes
cuts.
I've ever seen.
No
Yeah,
cut. It was
for
all
whatever
through.
that 5 minutes of
Yeah.
it was amazing. But
Yeah.
And how about you, Marquez?
Well, one of the things I've always liked about street level, quote unquote, street level characters, it's really not the scope of their power; it's how they use their power. That's really how you define a hero, And I think Daredevil is probably really the way. I mean, he just does not quit. I mean, the fact that he's blind and he's able to do what he does, it's almost like this notion of like his sight weakness. I mean, he didn't. When he could see, he wasn't a fighter. He lost his sight when he was a kid, and that's one of the things about him. I mean, it's his sight, the source of his lack of sight is at the source of his powers. I've always wondered about that. If you gave Daredevil the ability to see, would he still be Daredevil?
Right.
Would that help him or hurt him? Is it a benefit or a detriment? His sight.
I think
And
it definitely.
them begging that question, that's what created a lot of interest for the character for me, is the fact that, because I always wondered about that, if like someone could use some sort of magic to give him sight,
Would he still?
how
have no
would
fear?
how would he fare on that?
Well, the most recent movie definitely portrays him as having sonar, I think, to an
Yeah,
extent, if you know what I mean.
He could.
You definitely wouldn't get that without.
Oh no, he has powers from radio. I think.
Right.
Is
Yeah.
radioactive.
There's a word called for that. It's, if I'm not mistaken, it's called echolocoactive. Radar?
Echolocation.
Yeah.
Yeah, like bats.
If
They
I
say
did it
bats
wrong,
use
I'm
it.
sorry.
There is one. There actually was a kid who lost his sight who was able to do this with clicks. He
Yeah,
was able
there's-
to use clicks.
He's
a
trained
true
people
sonar,
to do that.
Yeah.
He can ride his bike. He can run,
Yep.
and he has a little clicker. He just click, 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 click.
There's
I'm
our
gonna put a
local
phrase-
Daredevil. There
I'm
he
gonna
is.
put a phrase out there for Daredevil, and this might upset some people. Can I say Marvel's Batman, perhaps?
Yeah.
No real genuine superpowers. Now, granted, he's not rich, you know what I mean, but he has the cool suit. He's
Yeah.
kind of based off of a bat.
He
Like,
does
He is
have
pretty
some
resourceful.
right,
does
he's
have some
extremely
super
resourceful,
healing
extremely
and-
intelligent.
I think
above-
Moon Knight, Marvel's
Moon
Moon
Knight,
Knight,
yeah.
would be a better
better
comparison
description.
to Batman.
And I'm not super familiar with Daredevil. I won't say that I.
Yeah,
Because
very
Daredevil
familiar
does
with
have
the story.
he does have superpowers. His his
okay.
echolocation is like he can see bullets.
Right.
He can
Yeah.
hear. His hearing's so fine that he can hear, like in the series, he can hear heartbeats 5
You tell if
stories
people's
away.
lying based
Yeah.
off the
On
rhythm of their.
Right.
Their
So he does have.
heart.
Remember,
his
he
senses-
made his buddy club. Buddy club.
Buddy Club.
Billy Club.
Billy
I said
Club.
buddy.
There you go.
Oh.
The Buddy Club.
No, that was constructed by
Please
the
don't do that.
Wow.
I think
I
his
bet-
suit
I like the
and
Buddy
his
Club
club
more
was
than it is.
constructed by.
But
His buddy club.
I'm super
Buddy
excited that
Club.
it's supposedly that he's going to be making
My
another
shurikens.
appearance. So they're not going to totally do away with the Daredevil as canon.
Oh,
Maybe the series, what happens, but he is the same actor is supposed to be coming back. They're saying
Yes,
in
for
She-Hulk
She-Hulk.
because she's a
Oh.
lawyer, and so they're going to be in the same. They're going to have
okay.
a run in.
Is it
going to
be a Netflix or no, a Marvel?
It's going to be on Disney Plus.
Oh,
Marvel
wow.
release.
Man, that Netflix.
That is the
series
hard
was
thing
super
right now is
good.
that Netflix
Well-
has rights to certain things and Disney has
Yeah,
rights to
that's-
certain things.
What
and
I'm-
it's like
Well, hold that thought real quick, Chris. Jesse did say something, and I'm glad you brought that up. The Netflix.
Yeah.
That was awesome portrayed. I enjoyed that show.
One of the
Yeah,
reasons is because
especially
it
when
was
the Punisher showed
TVMA.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And they
Yes.
can't. And Disney has to figure out how they can get those mature things across because that's what made. I mean, the things that made Daredevil so real is its grittiness and the
Yeah.
darkness that it portrayed in a Marvel.
He
Marvel
was-
being dark? What is that?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's supposed to
yeah.
be
Would you-
sunshine and rainbows
like
over
a
there.
Disney
Well,
dark or
Yeah,
Disney
Marvel
adult
Knights.
kind of. Yeah. I
Dude,
mean,
I don't think they'd ever do that.
I
That'd
don't
be-
know if they would. I think
The
it-
more money DC makes doing it,
the
they'll
nice thing
start
about
doing-
Disney right now
Yeah.
is if I said, "Hey, kids are over, you're at a family reunion, the kids are over, everybody's got their kids in the living room," I could say, "Hey, I'm going to put something on Disney," and all the parents are like, "Okay." You know what I mean? There's
Yeah,
that kind
but-
of a surety that people have with Disney
Yeah.
right now, like,
Versus
"Oh, it's a Disney movie."
and I think Disney wants to keep that.
Right.
I think that's
that is
part
that
of.
is some sound logic there.
Yeah.
But obviously, as adults, there's more to the world now than when we were children. There's,
Yeah.
there's a much wider expanse of comprehension, and I think that for us to assimilate, it's got to be more than Moana. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's got to have.
Can we pause? Okay. I'm sorry. Go.
No, it's got to have. We have to have contrast as adults. We have to have real life assimilation. We can't just sit here and watch this young girl go out on a journey through the ocean, which is still a great movie. I'm not saying anything bad about Moana. I'm saying
Yeah.
for me to recognize to recognize some similarities between my life and that. My life isn't perfect.
No.
Nobody's life is. As a child, you're kind of hidden away from that. And I think Disney
Yeah.
needs to find a way to personify with. We can all watch Moana, but for us to genuinely enjoy something that's put out, the Star Wars franchise, I think, is kind of a flop because nobody lost an arm, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that was kind of tradition in Star
Right.
Wars.
Well,
Ever
I
s-
have the high ground, man.
Yeah.
Like, I win, you lose.
Well,
It's
speaking
like,
of that, okay, let's do a quick comparison back to the movie. So, the one that was portrayed by Ben Affleck,
I think
the
it's great.
Daredevil.
I
Now,
liked it a
okay,
lot.
hold on. Actually, hold on.
I liked
Hold
it a
on.
lot.
Hold on. Wasn't bad.
Affleck.
It wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad.
It's not as horrible as everyone makes it
Yes.
out.
No.
Now,
So what do you
Michael,
think?
well, but Michael Clark Duncan when he played Kingpin, I enjoyed him. It was not bad.
Well, I didn't
It
like
was-
the choreography personally. It was like, here, throw a kick, I'll block it. Here,
What'd you
throw a
think of
punch, I'll
Elektra?
duck.
I know you like Elektra, Marquez.
Yeah,
How do
she
you
was-
feel
I like
Elektra
the
was
character.
portrayed?
I like the character Elektra.
Wasn't she
I thought
portrayed
that.
by Carmen Electra?
Jennifer Garner.
no.
Why did they do that? Come on, doesn't that sound like a great idea?
That's a big
Elektra portrayed
womp
by
womp.
Electra?
This guy.
I mean,
No,
she
'cause
was
she
did
was
well
created
enough.
by-
They
It's gonna come some
spun
psychos,
did a
five
spin-off movie.
But how about the
for her.
Netflix,
Yeah.
Jesse? The Netflix version of Elektra.
Oh yeah, that was
She
cool.
was
Oh,
portrayed.
yeah.
Yeah,
She
the
bad.
Netflix
That was-
version
yes.
really good.
Yeah, I mean,
especially
because
with the hand and with the group, the hand.
Excuse me?
That was
Frank Miller created Elektra.
The hand
Yeah.
from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
No, that's the
okay.
foot.
You went way
Oh,
too
okay,
far.
the foot. Oh yeah.
Cameron,
That's
Cameron, you're on your second strike, man.
What
You're
the-
not gonna be out of my show. This guy.
Okay, so that's the foot.
All right.
Time
hand
out.
and the
Time out for
The
you,
hand.
Cameron.
Sorry, we're
Time
gonna run out
out.
of body parts here soon.
Okay, so
The first Daredevil, there just wasn't that. The thing that made the TV show so good, there wasn't that street level like you were saying. Like
Yeah.
it was just a big plot. And
Yeah.
there wasn't which it's the thing. Like Daredevil makes this connection there in that street level crime fighting. Same thing with Spider-Man. Like if you just show him only fighting big guys and never fighting just guys on the street, it's gonna not quite pull off the same.
I like the interaction too. Also, Chris, with Daredevil. I like in Hell's Kitchen. You mentioned the Punisher,
Yeah.
Moon Knight.
Yeah.
You know, also he's had a little bit of interaction with Luke Cage.
Yeah.
You know, I
Well,
wouldn't
they-
say Jessica.
I mean, they
I
made
won't
the
say
whole
Jessica Jones
Defenders.
yet because that's another part. But overall, he's been very involved with, and especially with. Okay, we kind of forgot about this. The villains. Tell me a Daredevil villain that you like.
Oh, Bushwhacker. I mean, he's one of those obscure villains. He has missing his right arm, and he has a gun installed in his arm. And we haven't seen him yet, but he's actually one of my favorite.
How about you, Chris?
I mean, Kingpin, as portrayed by Vincent D'Onofrio, was an amazing
Oh, yeah.
performance, I thought. But I've always liked kind of Bullseye.
Yes.
Yeah.
How about you, Jesse?
Bullseye.
And Cameron?
Like I said, I'm not super familiar, so I'd probably have to go with Kingpin.
From the
Yeah. Well, there's Jigsaw.
Does he have
There's-
any like world-ending threats that he faces?
No,
or is
because
it-
he's a street level
Right,
character.
right.
I
Yeah,
mean, he
Hell's
doesn't-
Kitchen is more
But is he
down
ever a part of a team that
The
kind of goes into
Defenders,
the
that?
I mean,
Defenders.
but it's still
He
more.
also-
It's not world necessarily. It's more like city or
Yeah.
state. Like
Well, in the later comic
large
books, he's
amount of
interacted
death
with
would
the
be
Avengers.
involved.
He has
Yeah.
interacted with the but
yeah.
let's just try to like keep it more simple.
Okay.
I mean, overall, yes, Kingpin,
Yeah.
Jigsaw,
Bushwhackers.
and Bushwhacker, and also Bullseye. Those are his arch villains. And one of the things is Marvel, well, not Marvel, but Netflix did a really good job portraying Jigsaw. I liked how that character was being developed. It made him in the Punisher
Yeah.
arch villains, but also kind of interceding with the Daredevil.
Yeah.
That was kind of Bullseye has to be hands down one of his toughest
that was-
challenges. And Colin Farrell in the movie it was
That's-
okay, but it
Yeah.
was more of a comic relief.
And the thing about because Bushwhacker is more of a Punisher villain. I think he just sort of crossed over in the Daredevil
yeah.
and stuff like that. But Colin Farrell, he did a good job. I mean, the fact that they made it, they did a good job. They made him brand himself.
Right.
They just stuck the.
Hey, who's that character? I think it's Bullseye.
Yeah, there's no
Literally with
denying
the
that.
bullseye.
Yeah, he didn't just
engraved
wear
into his head.
Yeah, he didn't just wear a cowl with it.
So based off of the comics, who would be a bigger threat, Bullseye or Deadshot?
Well, they're both equal.
I mean,
They're-
essentially correct. Like,
yeah,
I would
Who is
still
the
stick
true-
with Bullseye.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
because Bullseye can use anything
Anything.
that he can get.
Who was his
hands
first
on.
miss? Who was his first miss? Daredevil.
Yeah,
He struggles against Daredevil.
because he could hear the projectile. He could hear,
Exactly.
you know.
Trigger the muscles move to.
But I think going forward, when they collaborated when they did the whole Defenders, I just felt that Daredevil was pretty much the leader going forward. You know, getting
Yeah.
the help with Luke Cage and also Iron Fist. But I think Daredevil overall, with the popularity rising from Netflix, has
Yeah.
just established himself. And think about it, with
Well-
Kevin Feige in the Marvel when they have their little get-togethers, I don't know how they call it, the investors meetings or
Mhm,
shows.
yeah.
He put it out there that he's contemplating and bringing people from the Netflix on over. So hopefully they bring back
I mean, they signed
Daredevil.
Murdoch on a She-Hulk and Punisher.
We need the
is
Punisher.
supposed to be
Yes.
probably-
Oh,
they're
that's.
they're gonna maybe change him into a villain in a series. He maybe become cross the line.
I would like to
have to fight
see.
back,
I would
so.
like to see like the Punisher go at it with probably like Crossbones. Because I know
Yeah,
Crossbones
that'd
has
be
beef with
good.
Captain America, but to get Crossbones in more of a darker mode, not like the one they did in the second Avengers.
More
Not
Garofalo.
the Age of
yeah.
Ultron, but
Yeah.
more give more of a darker tone. So, well, you
Yeah.
guys, what can I say? Congratulations to them, and we're looking forward to seeing their shows. Please follow their shows. I have the link below on their trailers on our website. So let's go ahead and move on over to the contest giveaway with more details.
Hey guys, here at Wichita Vice, it's time for our movie contest giveaway. To enter, you need to go to our webpage, razorcutinfo.wixsite. That's WIXSIT.com. To enter, put your name and email, and if you're the winner, we'll contact you and get you the gift card for the movies of your choice. Don't forget to check out some of our other channels for other contests. Thanks.
Okay, you guys. So, hey, Chris, what shows have you been watching lately?
The shows that I have been watching, Loki, we mentioned that. That was a good one. I really enjoyed that. The other shows I've been watching, HBO Max, Falling Skies. It's kind of an older one that was on TNT. I like that one.
It's a good show.
And a couple comedies on Netflix. Schitt's Creek, which is just
Oh, that's my wife's one of my
Kim's
wife's favorite
Convenience.
shows. Oh, I love that one too.
Is great. Who's going to be the one actor is going to be Shang-Chi in that upcoming
Yeah.
Marvel, so
Why do I want to
Yeah.
say Quan Chi from Mortal Kombat?
Shang-Chi.
Strike one for me.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what the heck?
That was a good.
Yeah.
Someone
So
edit that
that's
guy
that's
out.
what I
please.
got going on.
All right. Well, how about
Yeah.
you, Cameron?
I've kind of been getting. I'm waiting for an abundance of superhero stuff, so I've kind of put all that on hold. I've kind of switched over to an anime and gaming
Okay.
kind of style right now.
All right.
Daily Life of the Immortal King came out on Netflix. I've been watching that quite a bit. It's been pretty good so far. I'm getting ready to start rewatching The Witcher again since the new season was officially announced for December, I believe.
Awesome.
So I'm really excited for that. Peaky Blinders. Kind of
That's
been
a good
watching
show,
that
too.
again. Yeah.
That one.
So I've kind of put the superhero stuff on hold for now. I want a really big abundance. I can sit there and just binge
Yeah.
watch it, try to get the timeline right, which is nearly impossible. But yeah, I would say Daily Life of the Immortal King is probably the one I've been watching most.
How about you, Jesse?
I've been watching a couple. I've got an anime and then it's a couple of Netflix series. So the Netflix series is Ragnarok, the one you were talking about.
I like that one.
Yeah, it is good. Fear Street is new on Netflix. They have 3 little movies out right now.
Yeah, Fear Street. Yeah, and they're all out of sequence.
They're,
Yeah.
So it's like
Part 1 takes place in
in
'74, and then Part 2, yeah.
78, and then 16.
Yeah,
or
we
something.
just started watching that the other night, and I'm like, okay, did we miss something? I mean, I'm like, should we have watched
It's
that
weird.
one,
It's
or
like,
should we
why-
have
Why
watched
would you go? I'm
Part
thinking
1
that,
and 2? Yeah, I mean, I've not figured it out yet. We're like 30 minutes to an hour into each of them, and I still don't know which one should we continue to watch.
I'm guessing it's like from what I've seen so far, it's like trying to figure out the lineage of that Sarah Keller.
Yeah,
or
okay, but
is-
chronologically, Part 3 is the first one since it takes place back in 1666.
Yeah.
Wait, no.
1660.
We'll figure it out.
Something.
But,
Figure it out.
Had
But
me
I'm
all
also watching
confused.
that.
I'm like, what? I
Yeah,
can't keep track.
I'm watching that
Yeah.
too.
And
by the
My
way,
Hero
yeah, and then-
Academia is the other one I'm starting.
Yeah.
to-
I've
a
been
good
watching
one.
that. Yeah, I
watching
should
that
bring
because
that
they've
up.
got about 6,000 episodes.
Yeah.
So
Are you
that's-
caught up?
No.
No.
I'm still had to rewatch the first 45
All
episodes.
right, I won't ruin it for you.
And then
I won't give
One
out the
Piece
spoilers.
as well. I'm watching One Piece again.
That's a long one.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had to skip.
Oh yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
that guy. I
I
skip
do
the
too.
fillers. I'm
I do
watching.
too.
I'm on the current episodes now because it's getting ready to be a big fight. But I
Yeah.
kind of just.
I skip
So-
it. I skip intros, credits, fillers.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see,
Skip,
I
skip,
Nope,
skip.
nope,
Yeah.
nope.
There's a lot of fillers in One Piece.
When you've
Yes.
got like I mean, One Piece has literally almost 1,000 episodes.
There's
I
a
think.
lot.
It's over 1,000.
and it's
now.
still going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's over
yeah.
1,000, and they're just now. It looks like getting towards the end of this Mono arc.
See, I'm at Impaled Down arc.
Oh wow, you got
So
ways to go.
Yeah, I got a long
Revelry.
ways to go.
Is that Revelry?
Mm.
I think that's
The
Revelry.
Impel Down?
That's the one. Do they have Ace?
Yeah, Ace is in the prison.
That is my absolute
Oh,
favorite part of One Piece. That portion.
there's a
of
new
that
show,
arc
anime
is-
show.
See, you had me lost. It was like this.
What about
anime-
Record of Ragnarok? That one's been in
I haven't
conversation a
seen
lot
that
here
yet.
lately.
Yeah,
I'm
I've
trying
been
to
meaning
catch
to
up on
watch
all my
that.
other
I
stuff.
think I watched it and
Is it
lot
true
of
to the
filler.
mythology at all? Oh,
No.
not even close, but it's good.
Speaking of
Okay.
mythology, so let me tell you a little bit of my shows that I've been watching. So
Okay.
my wife and I, I get stuck watching Grey's Anatomy.
Oh god, that's so good.
I love my wife to death,
That's
so
a
I gotta
long
support her on
episode.
this. So I have to watch Grey's Anatomy. But we throw it up a little bit. I watched on the CW. I watch Jane the Virgin, catching up on that show. On my hero side, I like to watch Arrow.
Yeah.
So there's a new show on Stars. They wrapped it up this season, and I don't think they're going to do any more. American Gods.
Oh, I
That
saw
is-
the first two. That was pretty
Uh,
good.
that
sounded
show is
interesting.
amazing.
I never
Oh,
got
it's
into
it.
you
Great
gotta check
concept.
it out.
What's
Great
it on
concept.
again?
On Stars.
Stars.
It's on
Okay.
Stars. I already finished up the Tom Clancy series, and I'm a huge Tom Clancy fan.
Okay.
So that Without Remorse,
yeah.
It was
that's a
unfortunate.
subject for another day.
Right.
So
Yeah, but
we'll
it's
leave
the
it. We'll leave it
okay,
at that.
Yeah,
Movie
'cause I got a lot to
review.
say about that too.
But
yeah,
on
I
the
gotta-
Disney
I gotta
side,
tell you
on the Disney side,
stuff,
we've watched Loki.
yeah.
We've watched Falcon the Winter
I
Soldier.
like that one.
Yeah.
And then I've been catching up on a little bit of animated series with my daughter, my little one. There, she
Yeah.
likes Spider-Man.
Oh,
We've watched
cool.
Spider-Man and
Aw.
Fantastic Four. So hopefully, as she's growing up, my little Addie, hope she's keeps following like Dad, just watching the TV shows. So, but yeah, it's indeed. So I suggest to watch American Gods if you're into that kind of shows. That's a nice show.
It's
Yeah.
a very interesting
I'm-
concept for sure.
Yeah, one of the things I'm into weird, off the mark stuff like this, but my stepdaughter got me into this. It's called Attack on Titan.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
yeah,
Attack
That's
on
actually
Titan is
I've
great.
been watching that. I've
Classic
been catching
anime.
it. It's
Look
an
at,
older
look
series.
at our tech guy over there.
but
He's
yeah,
just
yeah.
like,
I mean,
headbutting
see,
over
Andrew's
there.
ready to
I mean,
Yeah.
I
Anime
thought the
show.
Titans at first were so goofy looking, but when I saw what they did, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
oh.
Wait till
Oh.
you get to this last season. It's
Dude,
Yeah,
that-
I'm
that's
almost
spoilers.
on the
No
last
spoilers,
season.
No spoilers.
I even started playing the game. I like
Yep.
the anime so
so.
much.
Have you
yeah.
seen the fan-made game that they've come out with for it?
No,
It
I have
is
not.
Amazing.
A
Yeah.
fan-made game.
And I'm
Yes.
just now customizing my character. Instead of the blades, I got like katanas and everything. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
My jets, when they stick into them, they make this cool noise, and I'm like, oh yes,
Yeah.
this is so cool.
Yeah, no, the fan made is basically they take like you can play as a Titan, or you
Yeah.
can play as like Aaron or
Yeah,
one
Aaron
of
is-
the
yeah.
other like I don't want to ruin any spoilers for anybody, so
Okay.
there are
okay,
other
yeah,
Titans
'cause
that you can potentially
yeah.
play as. They're
There's a
big
lot.
factors, or you can play as like one of the Scout Corps or one of the
Yeah, that's
you can play as different roles, and then you go through the town during an invasion, and it's like a team deathmatch. Last man standing
Okay.
wins kind of thing,
okay.
and
so-
it is very interesting.
all right.
I
Well,
can dig that. That's pretty cool. Man.
Yeah.
Well,
Mm.
for sure.
all right, guys. Well, it's getting to that time. We want to say is that please follow us. Again, please follow us
Yes.
on all the channels that we have open there, and give us a like, subscribe on YouTube. Tell us what you guys think, and who do you suggest that we should pick for the next hero and villain of the month. Also, follow us on Sports Fellas as well. If you're into sports, we talk about update sports, especially with the NBA Finals and upcoming NFL. And also, we have a new Cutting Crew episode, and please stay tuned for the new show we're going to have, Quantum Unveiled. So if you are a
Yes.
conspiracy theorist, this is the show for you. And also, we like to give back to the community and tune into what's around town, a show called Out and About. So again, we want to say thank you for hearing us out. Do you have any special shout outs you want to do before we wrap this up?
Not at the moment. I can't think of.
So you're not
anything,
thankful.
yeah.
Wow.
Special. You said
In the
special
room of
shout out.
gratitude. And
No. You
Yeah,
said
the room of
special
gratitude.
shout outs.
Yes.
Special
Not the
shout outs.
fortress.
I'm like, what do you mean? Shout
It's not a
So-
fortress, okay?
No, it is not a fortress.
It's not the fortress
Okay.
of gratitude.
And
Uh,
solitude.
Yes.
no, thank you guys for coming by.
Yeah,
You know,
thanks
I
for having
really,
us.
I really enjoy this, and this is what it's all about to me. Just this kindredness, this connection. You know, I mean, for me, I don't care. It's not about the monetary things or nothing like that. It's about making new friends and building lasting relationships. You know, that's That's my shout out.
Thank you, thank you, Marquez.
This day and age, man, you need all the friends we can get. That's
Exactly.
how it's going right
Yeah.
now. So
Agreed.
How about you, Chris?
As always, my wife and kids, shout out to them. And Marquez, thank you so much for having us here. And Carlos, is always getting us all together and keeping us running. Man, never giving up. And also, big shout out to Andrew and Eric back there running the
camera guys, especially the camera guys.
Yeah. And to everyone out there in cyberspace watching us and checking us out, giving us the thumbs ups and likes. Appreciate it, guys. Keep it up. Hopefully we'll get some more out there for you.
Thank you.
How about Cameron?
Basically, same people he said. I'll give one out to my my brother Ethan. And thanks to all the viewers. Appreciate it. For staying up to date.
Yes, thank you.
How about you, Jesse?
I'd like to thank Marquez for inviting us.
Of course.
Right on, man.
Always.
My dad, my sister, and then everybody out there in Cyberland. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you again real soon. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
I got a long list,
Yeah.
but I'll make it short.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's too many. When you asked me that, I'm like,
Written
okay, out of the sea of people. Who do I-
All right, so let's just start off. I just want to say I thank God. Thank you. I want to thank my family, my lovely wife. I love you. My kids, and the new addition, my baby girl Addie. I love you. And also I want to do a shout out to the people behind the scenes, to Leo, also Tim. I also want to thank my brother-in-law. Well, actually, he's my nephew. I keep saying my brother, but he's my nephew, pal. He's the guy that creates. He creates the page, everything. Hey, thank you. I love you. Also, I want to thank Andrew and Eric behind the scenes. Always appreciate what you guys do for us. I want to do a quick shout to Ryan Brooks and the family. Thank you for tuning in. My friend Brian Davis, a.k.a. Gutta, holding it down in Oklahoma. I want to thank my friend Brandon. Thank you for tuning in. He's out in Vegas right now, holding it down over there. And also, I would like to thank Caroline and Dewan for tuning in. And also the Waterhouse family, the Nims family, Russell Wilds and the family, Beto, miss you, cuz. Hope you're doing well out there. And Wari and the family, and also Curry and Pilgrim. Thank you guys. And if I forgot your guys' name, I'm sorry. Just know I love you guys. I appreciate everything you're doing. And also the cyber, what do you guys call them? The cyberspace.
Yeah.
Or interwebs is another one too.
Whatever
The
works.
Cyborgs.
Interwebs.
We couldn't do this without you guys. So thank you so much for tuning in. We look forward to hearing from you guys in the next episode. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you.
Love you.
Later.